Welcome back, everyone, to the best podcast in New York. This episode of the Assassin Cast is for the week of June 17th, 2018.
Ah, man.
I'm Jeremy Malaspina, accompanied by the one, the only, Dan McCarthy.
It's good.
And in this episode, we'll be covering the following topics. And I should have put action-packed episode because this is going to be fucking hysterical. Before I go into the topics, big shout out to Indonesia. We love you here at the Assassin Cast because apparently we're the next best thing since sliced bread over there. So, we're happy to have you. What?
I said to all our followers out there.
Yeah, welcome. All right, so during the best podcast in New York, we're going to be discussing the following topics, right? So for movies, we're going to be talking about the best leak of the week yet. That's trademark, by the way, leak of the week, Assassin Cast. Right. Tom Holland, who plays Spider-Man in the MCU, leaks the title by accident for the next Spider-Man.
The way he did it was fantastic.
I know, it's like, I just smacked my head, like, are you fucking retarded? Like, come on. All right, so we'll go into depth on that. That's kind of funny. We're going to speculate what exactly we think from the title itself. So we'll talk about that. And then they got what they wanted, Dan. The fans, they finally got what they wanted. We're going to rip apart the DC universe because the Batman, the reboot called The Batman, made it to the topic list. And it's because the DC can't make up their fucking mind whether they want it in the universe or outside of the universe, and we're going to get into the reason why.
Yeah.
It's going to be funny. And we're also going to talk the Netflix trailer for the upcoming series, How It Ends. We'll give our thoughts on that as well. And to follow up and finish the movie portion of this Assassin Cast, we're going to be talking biggest box... I can't even fucking talk. Holy shit.
Biggest box office bombs of 2018.
Right. That's a great call for you, ladies and gentlemen. You see that? All right, yeah, we're going to be talking biggest box office bombs of 2018 so far because it's not over yet.
No, it's not.
But we'll give our thoughts on that, and I think the list is about 8, so I'll run them off, and then we'll just pick out ones that we really want to tear to shreds. So we'll talk about that also. And then later on in gaming, we're going to be discussing a Fox News article, I think it was actually on the news as well here in New York, about gaming being labeled as an addiction. We discussed this bullshit in depth for you. Yeah, I think it's bullshit, so we'll discuss that in depth. We also are going to be talking the sneak preview of the Retron 77, the actual Atari system that's worth getting. That's not a scam.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. Shit. That's some shade thrown out to you, Atari. I'm doing that shit on purpose, so it's some shade for you. And we'll go into the reason why I'm throwing shade on them as well. Then we also talk about some big news out of Microsoft. Microsoft teams up with Razer to bring keyboards and mice to the Xbox One. We discuss this amazing news and what it means for PC gamers trying to get on the console side of things. And then to finish off the gaming topics for this week's Assassin Cast for June 17th, we're going to be talking Nintendo. They made the list once again, but this time for good reasons. Talks of Metroid Prime 4. Please don't kill me if I said that wrong, because when I was writing it, I was like, wait, is it Metroid Prime or is it Metroid 4? But I'm pretty sure it's Metroid Prime 4. Animal Crossing and Yoshi titles excluded from their E3 showcase, and we give our thoughts on that. So there was also Pokemon as well, but we're really not that knowledgeable on that, so I didn't want to add it to the list. But that's also was excluded from their E3. So we'll go into that. So anything new in your world, Mr. Fisherman? I heard you didn't catch shit today.
Nope, just back out there on the water. Well, anybody else that fishes around here on Long Island that listens but can't seem to get anything coming just yet. Right. Some bass here and there. Flukes are still few and far between. They'll come, though. Just got to stay warm. We haven't, I don't know about the rest of the country or anybody else that listens. We haven't had the weather where we need it. Even though it's summer, like technically summer, right? Started last Thursday, I think, for us.
Yeah.
21st, summer equinox. But yeah, we haven't had this consistent weather, so I'm kind of hoping that we'll get it soon.
Right.
Like I said, this time of this year, this is when I try to go out more. Once it becomes winter, I become a hermit. That's when I start playing again. But I'm also waiting for Madden big time.
Yeah, it looks great. In my life, it's actually, matter of fact, yesterday was my sister's birthday. So happy birthday to you, sis. Happy birthday. Congrats to
21 at least. You're holding up a beer.
Nah, she's 26 years old as of yesterday. So
all right. No, you were holding up the beer. So I was like, if she's like 18, we got a problem.
Yeah, no. Cheers to her. Congrats on your birthday. I hope it was wonderful. And, well, we actually had some cake today, and I got to see my cousin. She actually has a YouTube channel as well, where her and her husband go and explore all different rundown buildings and stuff that used to be an upcoming place, like maybe in the 30s. That got, like, I guess, condemned, that you're not allowed to go in or use. So she does her thing. So I got to talk to her as well, and I told her when we get
actually records herself committing felonies.
I don't know about the I don't know about the gray area there, but yeah. So anyway, shout out to her. I'm actually going to give her some T-shirts when we get our merch for the expo, so she can rep the Assassin Cast. So that's really all news in my world. Nothing new for us, podcast-wise in news. You know, same old shit. Waiting on the expo, and actually, what was I gonna say? I forgot. But yeah. So that's it. Let's get into this. I'm excited. This is a good one right here. All right. So first up on the list, let's talk leak of the week. Dan, let's talk leak of the week. All right. So this poor kid, Tom Holland, right? He plays Spider-Man in the MCU. You guys all know him. We've covered Spider-Man and every other fucking hero you could think of from Marvel. But this one is so funny, right? So the leak of the week is coming directly from the source, which is fucking hysterical. All right, so he does it by accident. So there's been a couple of screenplay revisions for the next upcoming Spider-Man movie, which the name is called Spider-Man Far From Home. And I guess there's been a couple of revisions, like I said. And right now, I'm pretty sure there's San Diego Comic-Con coming up, or it just happened. I'm not sure. One of the two.
That's usually where they release their shit. It's the San Diego one, though, so I feel like it's not yet. I haven't seen anything on it.
Right. And there's actually something else that's not on the list, so we'll talk about real quick after this. But so he's at San Diego Comic-Con, and he was like, sorry, guys, nothing really out there to tell you or give you sneak hints. But then he lifts up his iPad. He says, I'm working on the next screenplay. And on his iPad, it says Spider-Man Far From Home. I'm like, come the fuck on. This poor kid doesn't even know. And, you know, like, you got to understand, the fan base for this is so fucking out there and on top of their shit that anybody in their right mind would have saw that and been like, oh, shit. So, you saw it? You saw the article?
Yeah, I saw him lift it up. That's why I laughed the most. It's like just holding up a sign.
Oh,
that's,
my God. That is that's got to be leak of the week for the year.
Yeah.
Right
But he said something similar when he fucked up with Marvel, too. He just does that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, he doesn't do better. Like I don't think Marvel, they're strict on not releasing stuff, but they're not as crazy. Like, I tell you, the show I watch, Game of Thrones, like, that's crazy. Like, they don't, like, you can't. The only thing you see about the show is people breaking down episodes based off of using, like, fucking 1,000mm lens cameras and taking pictures of the actors while they're walking on, like, set.
Right.
Well, this character's with this character, so maybe this is going on. But they literally have no idea. So I know MCU wants to keep our shit on the wrap, but it was pretty funny. But I think for me, it just kind of gives us the whole thing. Like, you're not going to see this till after the next, what's it called? Infinity Wars, obviously. For people, obviously, I hope most people have seen it that listen to us. So obviously, everybody turns to dust. How the fuck are you going to have a movie after this or in between the next one? You can't. So,
right.
And we also know that kind of breaks it down for me, too, that I hate to say it. Knowing that he's working on another one, which I knew we kind of knew anyway, just lets me know, okay, he comes back.
Exactly. So, plain and simple, it wasn't really the smartest idea. And yeah, like you said, we don't really know what's going to happen on these upcoming Marvel, the upcoming Marvel movies. It's kind of like under wraps right now. But he did leak the shit. He did leak the title for the upcoming movie, and I wanted to speculate about it a little bit because it says Far From Home, and my immediate thought was, okay, this is gonna explain something to do with what happened in Infinity War on Titan. I have a feeling because Far From Home means like he is no, like right now he's in outer space somewhere that they don't even know where the fuck they are.
Well, he's dust.
And he's dust, right? So we guess we don't really know what the fuck's gonna happen with that, really. So I guess it's interesting to see that Spider-Man's coming back. Obviously, we know there's another movie, so he's gonna make an appearance back somehow. And what's interesting about this is, yeah, we found out this, and also heard during one of his panels at the San Diego Comic-Con, he was a little touchy about the subject of what character would he like to see in the MCU from Spider-Man, and he was a little shaky mentioning Venom, which is kind of interesting. So there might be a cameo in the Venom movie.
But the Venom's at Sony. I feel like there's so much shit we gotta deal with, unless they have rights to like a different way he looks. But
Right.
I think they already leaked Jake Gyllenhaal's supposed to play. Who they were saying, because they obviously the Vulture's gonna come back, and they had another character. I don't remember all Spider-Man's guys.
Well, there's Electro, the Rhino.
Yeah, Doc Ock and all that shit, but I don't remember all like the smaller ones because obviously Vulture wasn't a huge one, if I remember correctly. So they just didn't want to go with the same. You know what I mean? They don't want to go with like Doc Ock, like we all know, the Goblin, Hobgoblin. Like we don't want to just do them all. The Green Goblin, fucking like we didn't want to do the same. It seemed like
Exactly.
So they kind of off of that a little bit. I always told you I wanted to see like Carnage in there.
Yeah, I mean that's like a big '90s property. I don't know how Carnage would do,
who
but
knows?
who knows exactly? So I mean,
Anyway, we'll find out soon enough. I'm sure he'll tell us.
right. I'm sure he'll fucking leak it out to us one way or another.
We'll figure it out, guys. Don't worry.
Holy shit, Tom Holland! Salute to you over here at Assassin Case. Thank you for breaking us down. Well, breaking down and being an idiot and showing us what that is, because we could speculate all day about how far from home you really are. So before we get into this next topic, let's talk about the DC Universe real quick.
It's fucking dog shit.
Oh my god, we're gonna tear this apart. I have to plug the computer in, so you're gonna have to take over for a few minutes, but I'll bring it in for us real fast. So you guys got what you wanted finally. We're finally going to destroy the DC Universe in this next topic. And what's kind of funny is I didn't want this on the topic list, but it is so fucking retarded that I had to put it on here. So pretty much The Batman is the standalone movie that was supposed to be for the DC Universe. Has been getting talked about for the last couple months. Who's going to play Batman? Ben Affleck wants nothing to fucking do with the shitty universe. Which, more power to him. It makes me like Ben Affleck in that role a lot more. Because if he wanted to do the role and he wanted to do it his way, clearly it didn't happen like that. And it almost looks like he didn't get the justice, that he wanted out of it. So good for him. They don't know who the fuck's playing Batman. And they don't know if it's going to be in the DC Universe or not. And what I read through the article I put on the topic list for this week's Assassin Cast was that the reason they don't know if it's in the universe or not is because they want to see how it's going to pan out the next couple movies with fucking Aquaman and whoever the fuck else. Hold on, take over for a second.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out exactly where they're trying to go with this thing. Because even when we watched the last big setup that they did for it with Batman and Superman and all the other bullshit that I got to see. I don't know. I think the guy who's playing Aquaman, I liked him in Game of Thrones, but I think the Aquaman story, we can already tell from watching it's going to be dog shit. Wonder Woman really wasn't that bad, but honestly, I don't trust anything DC puts out. Now I got to sit here and fucking Green Lantern, like, no, I'm okay, I'm good. The Cyborg, I wasn't like grabbed on that character. I don't know. And I used to tell you, I like to read DC more. And I used to like to watch the cartoons of DC more than I did of all the Marvel shit. I just have nothing for it now.
Right. Honestly,
the way they're running it, it's just running it into shit. Because they're trying to copy exactly what Marvel did instead of just creating their own ideas. It's like, oh, let's do, origin stories for each one. And then after every one of them has an origin story, we'll do a movie where they all come together. Because you guys haven't heard that yet, right? Nobody ever did that. So we're going to do it. It's like, fuck, man, you're doing the same shit. Like, they really, I know Marvel talks like they had a plan. Let me just tell you, if fucking like Thor 2 and Iron Man 2 sucked dick at the box office, we wouldn't be sitting where we are today with all these Infinity War. You know what I mean? Like, but these other ones, like even like I told you, to Superman's, I had to watch so many failed attempts of Superman. I gotta now see if this is the fucking way. Who have we seen? We've seen like Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, George Clooney, Ben Affleck, Christian Bale. I guess like 30 Batmans. Like I'm done with Batman. I'm fucking done.
I don't
Like,
know. It's like, you
what
know,
else can they know about him? We've seen a movie with every bad guy they've ever done. And then they were talking in that article too. They're like, "Oh, we're going to show a backstory on the Joker." Why?
right. And that's what I was about to say.
I don't care what happened to him that turned him into a lunatic. The whole point of liking the Joker is while he's the Joker. I want to watch him as a kid pulling legs off of fucking beetles or something. And they start telling me that's why he's a fucking lunatic. But that's what made Heath Ledger so good. Because he had those scars, but he was a lunatic. He changed the story. You didn't even know what the guy was talking about. Like, how did he get those? So it made it good. You want to keep a little bit of like mystery behind the character. I don't need to watch this now of all this bullshit of him fucking seeing a backstory on him trying to build into another set. It's like when they fail, they just try to find another way to create another mass like movie effect. You know what I mean?
So that's the problem. So the problem is they're trying to be in what's it called? They're trying to follow in Marvel's footsteps, and this is a fucking problem, clearly. All right, because the Marvel universe has been planned and carefully planned over 10 fucking years to get up to this point to release a movie that has everybody together. All right. So now, for the fact that you're all over the place, and what's funny is they don't know if they're coming or going. All right. So the Joker standalone movie, they want the Batman to play closely to the Joker standalone movie, but they don't know if they want it to be in the DC universe. Like
Jared Leto, he was fucking dog shit.
Honestly, I don't even think Jared Leto is playing the fucking Joker.
Why he shouldn't? He was awful, dude. Suicide Squad to me was an awful, awful movie.
Everything's fucking awful in the DC universe. That's the point, though.
Nothing's been good. Like I did enjoy like the Christian Bale.
Oh, me too.
Having a brain fart on the
Dark Knight trilogy. Yeah.
Like Christopher Nolan, but I like Christopher Nolan. Like I like the Inception. I like what he does. Like there's movies I like, so I like the way he portrayed it. Yeah, we got fucked when Heath Ledger obviously passed away, as far as because he definitely would have been in the third one. But they did well with that. Just get it out of there. There was your standalone Batman. Let it go. No more.
Right.
Obviously, Superman failed. That guy looks like Superman, but I didn't like them. I just thought they were too long. I can't remember the name. I think Snyder is the director.
Yeah. Oh my God, Zack Snyder. Holy shit.
Yeah, I just didn't like either one of them.
Well, that's because Zack Snyder is a terrible fucking director. That's why. He's a terrible director. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He's lucky. You know what's funny? I listen to a podcast all the time, and they always rip on Zack Snyder. And I'm trying my hardest not to, because honestly, you know, he made The Watchmen, which was okay. But even that series, he didn't do justice for. No. So it's like, you got a director that sucks.
The movie's too long, too. Like, you can do that with movies, but some of them just don't have it. Like, Batman vs. Superman was like 2 hours and 40 minutes.
And it was like, they played it up like it's going to be the fight of the century. Batman vs. Superman. But then it's like, it wasn't. It turned into something totally different. I was totally against it. Now they don't know what the fuck. And what's funny is, I was trying to get a solid answer for the topic list to say, they want this to be in the DC universe, or they don't want this to be in the DC universe. But every fucking article I look through, they don't know. And you know why? It's because they want to know if the DC universe is going to sink or swim. And guess what? It's floating on the bottom of the ocean. It sank. It's done. Just give it a fucking rest already. Let Batman die in peace, man. Just leave him alone.
Like Batman, Superman, get rid of them. Like if you want to pull DCs out, you could try and read. Like Aquaman, I'll give a shot because it's new, but I think it's going to be awful. I can already tell from watching them through Justice League. The Flash, I'd watch that. Let's see what it turns into. Try a new Green Lantern. Everybody deserves a second. Obviously, Ryan Reynolds agrees when he got popped in the back of the head in Deadpool. The cameos where he was like, I'm going to be amazing. But you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, right.
You can absolutely like try, but enough. Like they hold it all on Batman. Like it's got its hype. It did well. Everybody talked. They wanted Christopher Nolan to do a Robin movie with Ford Levitt, but they don't want to do it. They realize
Well,
Like,
he
fuck,
didn't want to get. He didn't want to. He didn't want to do the Dark Knight. He didn't want to continue after the trilogy because that's all he would have been known for. He wanted to do other things, and I respect that. He made a great series, a great 3-part trilogy that was amazing. And if they could have introduced the Justice League off of that trilogy, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
Yeah.
It was well established.
He did well with the bad guys in his. That's why.
Right. It would have been
Deadpool, followed by Joker, followed by Bane. It was good. He did well.
exactly, and he could have just like issued in Superman at the end of the next movie.
Well, I mean, he just left it where he wanted to. He left it where it looked like you knew there was going to be another Batman like Robin. He played it off like the comics, like you know what I mean. Like there's always
where the
Batman.
the mantle gets passed down.
Yeah, it's always there, but you don't have to make a movie about it. That's the best part. You don't have to create another movie. The speculation of it is enough. Like, yeah, we can all say like, oh, I'd love to see a movie where they did that. Yeah, I agree, but you know, in the end, I'm not going to also cry if it doesn't come out. Now it's like I said, we're making the same shit over and over.
Right, and they totally destroyed the DC universe. Quotations.
Bad. They were directed bad. They were written bad.
Oh my god!
Even Batman vs Superman, the beginning of it, I was like, they tried to play it into each other. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
It was too much too soon. You dug your grave. Now fucking lay in it. That's it. You know, and it's like I'm not going to see this. You're not going to see this, and there's a whole bunch of fans that are just like us that are not going to see this no matter what.
Even if it comes out, it'll just add to the bombs list.
Yeah, we'll just add to the bombs of next year or whenever the fuck it's supposed to come out. Because you know what? At the end of the day, you fucked this up. I don't know what you're expecting from it.
Assume that like it's the name alone will save them. But it's funny when we get into the bomb list. Like you'll see the first one they talked about was a movie that dropped recently,
right?
And you would think based off of the name itself, it wouldn't be a flop, but it shows you people can get tired of this shit.
Right.
It's not just us. I'm like I said, I'm sure there's people that listen like, fuck them, they don't know nothing. They're talking about DC is great. You know what? Fuck yourself. That's my first line. The other one is like, you know, no, it's not fine. They're not developed well. That's a problem.
No.
That's a problem. Not even from the story itself. We're not hating on the DC universe in general. I'm hating on the fucking ability to create it into a movie franchise.
Right.
They can't write it. They can't fucking direct it. They can't find actors that fit the roles appropriately. So what am I wasting my time going to see them for?
Right. It was poorly planned. Like what else do you want from us?
Badly planned.
So that's it. That's all we're going to say about this. I mean, we could rip on this all day. Because at the end of the day, there's a million things about this so-called universe that they tried to establish that they totally failed on.
I think that's what I want to make sure our listeners knew too. I am a bigger DC fan than fucking Marvel.
Right, Batman is in our title,
but it's like it's just I don't know.
You know, people are gonna talk shit that we're talking shit, and the funny part is our intro music is fucking '89 Batman. It's 1989, the Batman.
Well, that's what I mean. I'm bigger DC fan, but I just, as far as cinematically, that's not even a question. It's just dog shit.
It's just not up to par. That's it.
Not at all.
So guess what? We will not have an update because I can tell you right now they'll probably be on the box office bombs.
I have an update. I'm gonna take a shit later. I'm gonna be in their fucking movies.
Oh my god, fuck that. All right, so let's leave it at that. Let's move on to this next topic here, which is actually awesome. We're going to be talking the Netflix trailer for the upcoming series, How It Ends. We give our thoughts on it. So now, let me just give a little backdrop on this. How It Ends is supposed to be like an apocalyptic situation. And I don't remember who one of the main characters' names are. I should have wrote that down. But Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker. I don't know. I know the guy's name. I don't know what the actor's name that plays the main role beside him.
Beside him, right. And supposedly Forrest Whitaker is going to save his daughter, and the other main character that we can't think of his name is actually asked to, like, if you want to be with my daughter, then are you coming with me to go save her during this apocalyptic situation? So they go and do that. He says yes. And, they run into, it's almost like a Walking Dead type of thing. You know what I mean? Like that end of the world.
But I always say to you, it's not
like a zombie apocalypse.
But it just plays on the fact is, if shit hit the fan, like we lost all our electronics, we lost all the cell phones, we lost all power, all in a blink of an eye, like, boom, gone. Mm-hmm. Then what the fuck would we all do? And that's like they always joke, you'd be more worried about people.
Right. and
Like what
that's definitely
nature?
gonna. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. That's definitely gonna be. That's definitely what it's gonna be about. You're gonna see the dark side of people in this series, and obviously, usually these Netflix series either go from anywhere from 8 to 16 to 20 episodes, so it could be really fleshed out, from what I'm thinking.
I don't
Um,
know. I wasn't sure what it was. Was it like a movie or a show? But that's why I laughed. I said I think it has to be a show because I was like, "What are you gonna do?" That Netflix doesn't usually do like a Netflix own movie. I think sometimes they do, but it seemed to me like it's gonna be like a series. But I
right.
know Netflix tends to drop, if I know right, they drop all their titles at once. Like
Um,
meaning their episodes. Like they don't just be like, "Oh, here's episode 1, next week episode 2." It's usually like, "Here's 20 episodes. Enjoy."
right. They're gonna give you all of season one,
Yeah.
and that's it. Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, that might not be it. If it does well, then they'll come back for another season and
Yeah.
another season. But from what we see, it looks like it's a good story. To be honest, I mean, I saw the trailer for this by accident. It actually came up as a commercial for something. I want to say it was YouTube, and I actually was like, "Oh, what is this? This looks good." And obviously, I did my homework, and then we ran into an article for it, coming up with the topic list. So I'm like, you know what? Let's talk about this. This looks good. And I got to hand it to Netflix. They're really killing it with these original series. There's
Yeah, they are.
there's a lot of them. So and I'm happy this one hit the list because I don't think we've seen anything like this from a next Netflix original series. Like
No.
obviously Netflix has they have The Walking Dead, and I'm sure they have other
Well,
horror
AMC.
movies. What?
AMC.
Right, but they have their seasons,
Right.
not the most recent seasons, but
But they have it on there. I got you.
yeah, so they have it
But they
on
have like
there.
Stranger Things and stuff like that. They're Netflix originals, and like that's
Mhm.
what I mean. Yeah, same concept. Like I said, we won't know until you actually watch it. But I always give like shows like that a shot. Like I had somebody at work who was just telling me to watch like The Handmaid's Tale or The
Right, right.
Handmaid's Tale. Like I watched one. I was like, I don't know if this will be my type of show, but I give you a baseline of 3. If you can't grab me by 3, unless somebody really fucking punches me,
Mm.
like then time I give up. If you can't pull me in by that.
Well, yeah, and then I've noticed like a lot of the series start off slow. Like for instance, me and my girlfriend, we started watching uh, Luke Cage because that released on the 22nd, and that's something I've been wanting to see. That was actually the first series I watched getting my Netflix back because I didn't have it for a while, and that's the first series I wanted to watch was the season one. So when I saw season two, I'm like all about it, and it starts off really slow, and she just wasn't into it. And
Yeah.
that's coming off Jessica Jones, so you got to give it a chance with some of these because they're trying to build this storyline over a couple of episodes. So from what I saw in the trailer of this one, it looks great.
Yep, that's what I said too. I'll give it a shot. Still think something that'll grab me.
Right now, I don't know if we got a date for when that's coming.
The 13th,
Of this month?
July 13th.
Oh,
Yeah, well,
July
it's
13th.
not going to be June 13th. We're past that already.
Oh yeah, sorry. Hey, listen, I got the date right in the
That's
intro.
why I
Let me
get
know.
pumped for every time he gets the date right, people. Anytime he gets the date right, I'm excited.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
July 13th is when it'll pop. So that's what I saw at the end of the when I was watching the trailer too. So yeah, it's just something like I said. I'm always worried, like post apocalyptic shows are fucking what's it called? Have been like the thing, like everybody's doing them. So I'm kind of like, nah, like is it gonna be fucking the same as every other bullshit I've seen? That's the only thing that worries me.
I mean, I guess we're just gonna have to give it a
Yep,
chance
exactly.
and see. I mean, obviously, we don't have to wait too long. That's in a couple weeks, so we'll give an update on it. I'll try and catch it and see how it is. All right, so let's move into the last topic of the movie portion of the Assassin Guys. Sorry, I almost fucked that one up. All right, so I have to pull out my phone for this so I can give everyone
Oh,
the list.
I already know most of them.
All right, so this is going to be the biggest box office bombs of 2018 so far. We'll go over the list and then we'll give our thoughts. So, or maybe we'll just give our thoughts while we go through the list. But I want people to hear the list. So,
Well, that's the most important one something I alluded to in the beginning of the show is like the first one on this actual list, and then they're basing this off of how much money they had to use and implement into creating the movie versus how much it grossed domestically and internationally, and they look at the number difference and say, okay, this should have done well or should have done better or broke even. But the first one shouldn't surprise many people, and I can also say that because the first one I didn't even waste my time to see, and I think we've talked about as far as I'm getting sick and tired of seeing the same fucking shit over and over.
Right.
Because number 8 is Solo.
A Star Wars story. That's number 8. All right, so hold on before you go on. Box office, it only made $344 million in the box office. Yeah, only, and 197 million domestic, and the budget was 250 million. So they made nothing on this so-called what is it, AAA movie, if you want to say like that.
Similar to like a Rogue One, that type of storyline.
Yeah, it was kind of like a backstory of Han Solo. Yeah. You know, it gives it like they try to flesh out his character. You know, this is, Star Wars fans are diehard. You know what I mean? But even the diehard Star Wars fans weren't really feeling this idea to begin with. And I feel like a lot of this movie, a lot of the money that they made above 250 million were probably some of the fans that just wanted to go and see if it was shit or not.
Yep.
So it's amazing that hit the list. I agree with you. You know, Star Wars is supposed to be a big franchise. So for them to do shitty at the box office.
Enough. That's what I say with it. The same thing. If you got to keep making, you got to obviously make one more so we see the final, 3 after. But I'm fucking done with these side ones. It's like, come on, just enough. Like, if you're gonna do a side story, the only one people are gonna want to see is show me Vader. I don't give a fuck about Solo because they don't talk about that. Show Vader in between 3 and 4. So it's before New Hope, they made in the 70s, and then it's after, obviously, the third one where he officially becomes Vader because he goes around and just kills everybody.
Right.
But if you want to see something, show me that. Like, at least you could show me like Vader with the lightsaber, because that was the only part I remember in Rogue One that I liked the most. Is when they're trying to when they were stealing the Death Star plans at the end of it, and Vader's in that doorway, and these fucking guys are trying to like do anything they can to get out of the blast door from seeing them, and he's like, without even trying, he's blocking all their shots. It's like, oh my god, like, you know what I mean? It's like getting into a room, you got a stick versus a lion, and the thing's already got, like, your friend in its mouth. And you're like, oh fuck, like, where am I gonna go? Like, so that's what I mean. That's the type of stuff. But this other Star, enough. I know you saw, like, I don't know if you want to go through the list individually. A lot of them are Pixar movies I didn't even know were actually out.
Right. So let me just breeze through the list quick, and then we'll go through the ones that we want to talk about. So number 7 on the list is Early Man, which happens to be like a cartoon type of movie, more like Pixar, like you said, that kind of computer animated shit. Box office was 53 million, which is really low, and their budget was 50 million. So they fucked that up bad.
3.
And I don't really know too much about the storyline on it.
We don't care. Pixar.
Yeah.
Only a few of those do good.
Hold on. I'm trying to look through the rest of this.
You gotta click on
Okay, yeah, I got it. Okay, so number 6 is Gotti, which I'm surprised that was on the list. But box office, they made $2 million so far because it's relatively new. Budget was $10 million. So far, it hasn't made too much money, but it's still out right now. So I'm surprised it's even on the list yet.
Yeah, some of the ones on the list made no sense.
Right, this is weird to be on there. So the next is Annihilation. This movie's box office was 32 million, and their budget is 40 million. That's
it's supposed to be a start to a trilogy, I think, too, and they just based on a book, if I remember correctly.
Right, and I remember this chick. She tries to run into that piece of wooded area that's getting taken over or something like that. I remember what this was supposed to be. Yeah, that didn't do too well either. Another one, number 4, is Death Wish with Bruce Willis, which I can't believe this is on the list. Also, box office 48 million, budget was 30 million.
So I said, to me, they're not like, when I read through that list, like, some of them aren't box office bombs because if you didn't put, like, fucking Solo put $250 million into that shit. They were expecting to make like $1 billion.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's risk versus benefit. These other movies, like, oh, if I put 40 and took away 60, they're pumped.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, then you're happy. You made money. So that's why I said some of them I don't even know what the fuck they are. So maybe that's why they're bombs, I guess.
I mean, that could be it too. Like Death Wish looked like an okay movie. I think it was based on a book, wasn't it? And that's what
I'm
Bruce
done with
Willis.
Bruce Willis, get out of here. Just
They're-
retire already.
They're actually
Look
going to
at
roast
Tom
him.
Cruise.
Did I tell you that? They're going to roast Bruce Willis. It's going to be funny.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so...
That's John McClane. I don't want to see him.
Hey, listen, don't hate on John McClane.
I said if he's not John McClane, I don't want to see him.
All right. I'll let that
stay
slide.
alive. You stay with me.
I'll let that slide. All right. Okay. So now number 3 on the list is Sherlock Gnomes. Box office was.
I would have thought. The movie title makes you laugh. It's a shit movie. Okay.
Oh my god. Okay, so its box office was 86 million. The budget was 59 million. I mean, that's not as bad as fucking Solo. Maybe more money than Solo. And that's MGM. I can't believe that. I mean, I could believe a lot of these, but something like Death Wish, I don't believe is supposed to be right. Number 2, The Hurricane Heist. That sounds familiar. Director Rob Cohen from The Fast and Furious was on that.
Yep. Take another Fast and the Furious, man. What are we up to? 12?
Yeah, stick to what you know. Okay, so box office 6 million, and the budget was 35 million. That's abysmal.
Yeah.
That is terrible. Oh my god.
Stings a little.
Okay, number 1 on the list. A Wrinkle in Time.
I called this before I read the article. Yeah. Put Oprah in a movie. What do you expect?
Oh my god, that is Oprah. I didn't even realize. Holy shit. Okay, so box office 132 million, and the budget was 130 million.
Yeah. You saw it. They want to bleed off of it. It's supposed to be like a movie that I think will have trilogy potential, but you can't. It's like that other one. There was something with George Clooney called Tomorrowland.
Oh
that
yeah.
Like this next big thing too. That movie fucking sucked. I think it's just showing you like I fucking don't understand. Like who are they employing to tell you to make these fucking movies?
I don't know.
I don't need to pay me. You do not have to pay me. I understand. I have a biased perspective on movies, but for the love of God, like I look at some of these movies, fucking Sherlock Gnomes. Come on, man. You could be a little more creative than that, please.
It is so bad. And you know what's funny? It's like, it just goes to show you, even with the last one, was it A Wrinkle in Time?
A Wrinkle in Time.
They have Oprah, they got fucking Reese Witherspoon, and it's like, it just goes to show you, if there's shitty writing, you're going to get a shitty movie. That's what happens. No matter how much fucking money you blow on your movie, it is going to be shit if it's written like shit. Let's just be honest.
For a good drama, like some of the movies, like I told you, some of the ones I used to love and I based off the writing was like fucking Seven, for instance, something like Fight Club. Like those are the type of things I'm waiting to see them try to make again, and they're not coming up with anything. And then when I say again, for the love of God, don't misinterpret that as a reboot.
No.
I want that to be a fucking. I just want some originality. Like I know a lot of stuff based off books, I get that, but for the fucking Christ Almighty,
It's like, come on. I mean, it's crazy. I'm still.
I remember seeing that in the movie theater, like the thing for that. Once I saw Oprah, I just couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah, who could take that serious?
Oh, shit, like here we go. If I'm not getting a car today for the movie theater, I ain't seeing your movie.
Oh my god, that's crazy. And you know what? It's like, I can't believe Death Wish is on there with Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis usually does good at the box office.
Oh my god!
But once again,
nobody him from the waist down because apparently he's gonna chub for fucking Bruce Willis.
Hey, listen, I am a diehard fan. That is my shit. All right.
Of course, we all love John McClane. That was 1988, man. Let it go. All right. Jeez.
All right. I'll let it go. Fucking A. Okay. Roast the shit out of it. You already got roasted. Welcome to the Assassin Cast, Bruce Willis. You got roasted already. All right. You don't even need to go on this show. All right. So now for our movie heads. That concludes the wonderful, brilliant Assassin Cast for the week of June 17th, 2018. Holy shit. Box office bombs. You're going to be talking about that all week, that's for sure.
I'm sure there's more that we haven't even thought of. I can start doing my own research and just tell you why I think all these movies suck. And like I said, nobody's paying me for my opinion. I hope people understand that. This is just me looking at it.
Right. So listen, guys, if you're tuning out, we will catch you next time here at the Assassin Cast. Later, guys. So, moving on to the gaming portion. What?
Bread and butter, as I call it.
Yeah.
Fuck. The gaming.
The bread and butter of our list here. We're moving on to the gaming, so let's talk gaming being labeled as an addiction, and we discussed this bullshit in depth. You know what? Why don't you take this one off because I want to just read something out of this real quick. So go ahead.
Foremost, I will. For unlikeness, you won't like it. I do agree it can be an addiction for people. I think it just depends on personalities in general. But for instance, if you choose not to shower, we used to joke when I played World of Warcraft, they called it a raid bucket. That was when you didn't want to leave the computer so you could take a leak right there and continue playing. Yeah, that's bordering on addiction if somebody actually did it. I hate to tell you, you know what I mean? If you're fucking covered in Cheetos and you're fucking wearing the same clothes for 4 days playing a game, yeah, man, that's a fucking addiction. But to say that everybody's gonna do it, no. Like I said, me and you game. I'm
Right.
sure I don't game as I used to when I was younger. Obviously, I mean, I don't think I don't. I do not. But still, you know what I mean. If you can, it's the same. You're functional. That's just what I like to do in my personally. That's what I like to do in my pastime. So I don't, Claire, think it's actually an addiction to that extent. But yes, I think kids and stuff like that can. I used to know guys, like I said, I used to know when I was younger, I could play the game and still do schoolwork and still do what I had to do, but I knew people that couldn't. I knew people that would choose to play World of Warcraft or Diablo instead of going to class in college,
Right.
and they bail out. So that's why I said define addiction. I don't think they're going to withdraw from it.
Okay, so let's just let's pump the brakes for a second. I get what you're saying. So now I think I wrote this down wrong, and yeah, I guess you could qualify as an addiction, but it's a compulsive video game playing now qualifies as a mental health condition, which I guess is really the same thing.
Yeah,
in a sense. It's saying it's saying it in a different way. I agree with you. I mean, if you fucking sit in front of your TV and decide that you don't want to go to work today and fucking play, I don't know, let me pick a random game out of the fucking list over there. Fallout. Let's say you want to play Fallout, right?
Yep.
And you're fucking in front of the TV all day and you just decide that your priorities is this game and not going to work, not showering, not eating, not your significant other, and you just throw everything out the fucking window, then yeah, that is not good. That's addictive tendencies right there. So I agree with it that much. A mental disorder, I think that's a little much of a stretch. Like, yeah, I could see why it could be considered a mental disorder because it's like, I feel like it's more an addiction than a mental disorder.
Yeah. I agree. That's what I'm trying to find out. It's like we're skating on a thin line of differentiating the two.
Right. So,
but I think it's just the whole key is how much you let anything take over. Like, you know what I mean? Like, could you say that I have a mental disorder or an addiction to fishing? Like, you'd say no, he just loves to fish. Well, like you said, if I'm driving to the train station to go to work and then decide to just pass the train station, not call work, not say anything, and just drive and start fishing and doing whatever. Yeah, like then you know what I mean. Like it's inflicting on a way of you surviving. Well,
right.
Not surviving, but you know what I mean. Providing, I guess, would be the better way of putting it.
Exactly.
You know? You're putting that in front of work and everything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Prioritize people. Prioritize. It's just easier for kids to do that because they don't have priorities.
Exactly. They don't have a lot of responsibilities.
They're more at risk. Where are their responsibilities? Yes, work is one thing, but a kid that can just play the game, he's, for instance, like what's going to happen now with school break, if you're just going to do the whole summer, all you did was play, yeah, I'd be like, come on, man. Like, if if you're like 13, 14, you're not working yet, and that's all you're doing, then yeah. But most people, I think for the most part, that's not the case.
Let me read a quote from this article. Now, this is coming straight from Fox News, all right? So if you want to fucking yell and scream at somebody about this
By the way, fuck
shit,
you, Fox News, but that's beside the point. Go ahead.
yeah, okay. So this is, quote, we come across parents who are distraught, not only because they're seeing their child drop out of school, but because they're seeing an entire family structure fall apart, said Dr. Henrietta Bowden-Jones, a spokeswoman for behavioral addictions at Britain's Royal College of Psychiatrists. She was not connected to the WHO's decision. Bowden-Jones said gaming addictions were usually best treated with the psychological therapies, but that some medicines might also work. I mean, this is like a little too much, to be honest.
This seems like they're just breaking it down too much. Like, I get it. I understand a concern, like you said, if somebody's just playing instead of doing anything else, but then now we're worried that, that said person needs therapy. And that's why they do it. Like, I've actually heard the opposite. Why have I heard that games are a good form of therapy? particularly for somebody who might have PTSD.
Right.
Or somebody who's an agoraphobic, which for people that don't know what that is, means they fear going outside because of, say, some said trauma, and they
No.
use a computer or a console to interact and
Right.
play games. I mean, I want that to be their sole interactions, but some of them would then never speak to anybody, and they can use this as a stepping stone
Yeah.
to better themselves. So it could be both ways, like, you know.
And I look at it like this. Let's talk about a drug addict for a second. Like, when you're a drug addict, obviously it takes over your mind and your way of thinking, right? And to focus on a hobby is actually a healthy way to be able to overcome your addiction, whether it be going to the gym or going running, even anything that stimulates your mind in a certain way that takes you out of your head for a while. That's a
Yep.
good for an addict. And that gaming could be that hobby for somebody. You never know. So to classify it as an addiction itself, that's really fucking nuts. But what really just stuck out to me in this article while you were just talking is it says that the study suggests that these individuals were engrossed in internet games. Certain pathways in their brains are triggered in the same direct and intense way that a drug addict's brain is affected by a particular substance. The association said in that statement, the gaming prompts a neurological response that influences feelings of pleasure and reward, and the result in the extreme is manifested as addictive behavior. It just seems like a classification.
But then I try to wonder is what is the person doing? Are you telling me that they're just sitting there playing a game alone? Like you said, like you see the gaming headset I have on now. I never felt like I was playing a game alone. That's
Right.
why that was one of my bigger things. The Xbox was one way. The Xbox I usually just used to talk shit. Like that's really what I did. But as far as playing games online, this was like everything. Like you communicated with people. You got to know. I met a bunch of guys that I used to play World of Warcraft with when I was younger.
Right.
And them I still talk to this day. 15 years later, I still talk to these
Yeah,
guys.
you know what?
I see them. One lives down in Florida. Like you became good friends. And then it's like funny how that like it all started with the game. You know what I mean? But again, like I want to make sure that people know that. Listen, yeah, you never know. Yes, it's overcoming you. Then yeah, then hopefully you could find ways to stimulate yourself outside of the game. Take a step back from. Make sure you're not totally engrossed in the game.
Right.
Go outside, like I said, when it gets nicer out. Try and exercise, like we said. But it doesn't mean you can't play the game at all. Enjoy it. Do what you do.
Exactly, and you know what? There's not a problem with devoting a certain amount of time towards gaming.
Right.
That's not a bad thing. But I guess what they're trying to say is that if it's overtaking certain portions of your life and you're starting to just totally disregard your responsibilities and what's actually important, like paying bills and shit like that, then yeah, that's becoming a
That's
problem.
important.
Yeah, right. It's becoming a problem. And just like you said, when I used to play Counter Strike on the original Xbox, I made a lot of friends online that I still talk to till this day. Even my friend Travis out in Iowa, shout out to you, Travis. We still talk to this fucking day. So honestly, like, to me, I can understand the benefits and the things that are wrong with this. And there are some kids that are taking it a little too far by playing it in school. Like, I guess you could say that, like, with the Fortnite. You know how I hate fucking Fortnite. But,
Yeah.
that's not helping the case of this, because now these kids have it on their mobile device. Everybody has a mobile device. Now they're in school playing it. So they're in school playing it. They're at home playing it. Who's to say that they're not paying attention and ruining their lives at an early age? I guess I could see where they're coming from. But honestly, I just feel like they're classifying it in a way that it probably shouldn't be classified unless they did a lot more testing. They tested people in Britain. They tested people in Asia. So come over to the United States, test some people here, do a fucking survey of, so-and-so people. Like, make it look suitable to be talked about on the news. That's what I don't like about this also. It's like, they don't have all the adequate information to come out of me left field to say that this is a mental health disorder. Until you give me some fucking stand-up information, I can't agree with you. Can't. I mean, yeah, there are some kids that treat this like an addiction. I'll agree with that. But I want to see some fucking legit information first before I'm like, okay, you're right. It's a mental disorder.
Yeah, I agree.
And now let's talk about collecting real quick, because they didn't add that in there, and I'm gonna add it in right now. Who's to say collecting's not just as bad? You're
agreed.
actually spending money to.
Now you got to define. Now you got collecting versus hoarding. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's one is, but that's what I mean. Like it's just depends. Like when do you step over that threshold? Same with gaming. When are you playing too much, and when does it become or when are you playing? That's your hobby. Like I said, there are worse hobbies out there. I agree. I don't want you sitting sedentary, like just sitting in front of your computer or on your bed all day playing a game. But it's still better. There are way more harmful vices that I concern myself with.
Right.
That
Like
yeah,
gambling and shooting heroin are
exactly.
way worse.
That's a lot of stuff. Yeah, man. There's a lot of stuff out there that people can do, especially kids these days. It's not like
Oh my
when we were
god.
younger.
No, that's true. So you know what? I
So
want to give an
the difference
update on
between
this.
a syringe and fucking Yoshi, I say go with Yoshi. It's just me, man.
Almost made me spill my beer everywhere.
Uh,
Yeah, I pick Yoshi too. If you have a choice between syringe and Yoshi, please pick
you
Yoshi.
Yoshi. That's what I'm going for, boys. That's the T-shirt I'm making for the expo. I choose Yoshi. All right, that's what I'm putting on.
Say no to heroin. Choose Yoshi.
Say yes to the Yoshi. Simple.
Oh my god! All right, so you know what? We'll give an update on that if there's something comes from it. Because honestly, I would like to bring this back up again. Maybe have a better discussion about it. But from what I have my views on it right now. Let's see where it goes. Let's move on though because this one's interesting. All right, so here's the shade, you fucks over there at Atari. We talked a sneak preview of the so worth it Retron 77 over the fucking Atari box. That's worth getting, and it's not a scam. The Retron 77, and you know why? Let's pump the brakes real quick. Let's give a little update. All right. Now, not our E3 podcast, which was the last one. The one before that, we had mentioned a YouTuber, prominent YouTuber, RGT85. He'll be at Long Island Retro Gaming Expo. He actually posted up a video, and I remember I told you that I couldn't find it after he posted it. And it was putting Atari on blast because it was almost like they couldn't, like you knew that it was bullshit because the developer came out of right field and was like, I've never coded this game for your so-called Atari box. So now it turns out that they went on their Facebook page and talked a whole bunch of shit to Sean Long, who is RGT85. Now, this is what's crazy. A lot of other YouTubers got up on there and started talking some shit as well back to Atari. Even Smash JT is a big YouTuber as well. He wrote him a fucking letter saying how disgusting it is that your PR department would go out of their way to talk all kinds of shit, saying that this dude is not credible. Now, this guy wrote articles for Nintendo. Like he's up there. I respect him 100%. And, you know, we always got your back over here in New York with the Assassin Cast. So, yo, more power to you, Sean Long. But this is what's funny, right? Now, speaking of YouTubers, one of the big YouTubers, Metal Jesus Rocks, who's on YouTube, has a lot of followers, and one of his friends, John Hancock, will be at the expo as well. You know, I'm actually excited to meet him. They both got a sneak preview of the Retron 77. So now on the YouTube, I included John Hancock's video that I didn't get to see yet, but they go in depth on the review of the actual system that is not technically out yet. It's going to be coming out soon. And what's great about this is if you're an Atari 2600 collector, this is really up your alley because you're able to get a 720p picture out of it. So you don't have to worry about, now that's the problem with the 2600. If you have a 2600 from the 70s and you try to hook it up to your TV now, it is a fucking hassle.
I can only imagine.
You have to get it modded to do composite or S-video to even get the thing to hook up to your TV. You can't hook it up through RF, through your cable line. It will look like super shit. If you think shit looks bad in composite, it would look super shit. So now the Retron 77 is like a gift from God. They have, what is the name of the emulator on there? Damn it. I know what this is. I think it's Starlight. I don't know. I could be wrong. So anyway, they have a really good emulator that's being powered on this system. You play the original cartridges on the top, and they give you a joystick that in Metal Jesus video, Jason's video, I saw that he had an issue with their controller, the joystick, which is really nice because most people don't realize this, but if you're a lefty and you try to use the 2600 controller, you're shit out of luck because it's made for a righty. The button's on the left-hand side. I mean, or the right-hand side, whatever. So anyway, their new controller that comes with the Retron 77 has buttons on both sides. So you're able to use it lefty or righty. So that's actually really nice. But he had a problem with the controller, but that was all I saw. I didn't see anybody else really have any issues with this console itself. Like if it's a controller issue, they said they were making a revision, and that'll be taken care of. And it has a lot of features. It has a load and a save, which is something the 2600 couldn't do. So it's really interesting stuff. I mean, did you take a look at that video?
I did, and that's why I said I get excited. I do for anything like this because, like I told you, I used to play it a lot. So I think I have. We bought it for my old man, like fucking Christ, years ago. Like something. It's pretty much it's just an emulator, but he just wanted like Asteroid and Metroid. He wanted those old school games.
Right.
It's like that's what he remembers. I try showing him Call of Duty right now, and he's fucking lost. You know what I mean?
Right.
Poor guy's 2 years old, so I give him a break on that part. But I hand him a controller that's got like, all right, this is LB. LT, you have 2 here. This is the D-pad. He's just staring at this thing like, oh my god.
What happened to a joystick and one button?
He just wants the one like pa 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 and just shoot shit and move left to right. And when I watch him play like Asteroid, I can't stop laughing because he still somehow does.
Yeah, of course.
You got left, right, and a button, dude. You're not even on level 3 yet. Like, but still, though, I like it's a good. As long as it can play, like you said, I was always concerned because how do you set it up? When I buy it, when you got him that one, it sets up. It's it goes through the HDMI port, but obviously it's not being.
Yeah, it's not going up to a high def
HDMI, which is fine. I don't expect those games too. I don't need to see the original Donkey Kong in HD. Like, come on, like what the fuck's the point?
Yeah, now honestly, for our younger viewers out there, because I know for a fact there are some of you, this is one of the first consoles, video game home consoles to be in your house.
Yep.
And now the arcade versions of these were light years ahead. And it wasn't the same, obviously. It was kind of basic, if you think about it.
But in your home, that was the whole point.
Right. So this is a way to have some arcade experience in your house. So, I mean, what I like about it is, now, if you have original cards, you're able to preserve them. You could actually use them on your new TV without an issue. Another thing is there's an SD card slot in the back. So if there's a homebrew game that you saw in an expo and you liked, you could get that ROM file loaded to an SD card and put it right in the back. Nice. And you're able to play. But they have an anti-piracy thing on it where you can only load up 20 games. So you can't have more than that on your SD card. And honestly, you wouldn't even need a big SD card anyway because the files are so small.
Yeah, they're not like what they are now.
Right. So now, pretty much what I'm getting at here is, this is a way better route to go than an Atari box.
Yeah.
Now, that's what's funny about this. Now, this is suitable for an Atari collector. This is like a gift from fucking God. They're able to play their fucking Atari games on their high-def TV, no questions asked, no problem. Now, the Atari box is a shot in the dark because those same dudes that want to play their classic cartridges, that's what that's aimed for. It's aimed from those dudes that are in their late 50s, early 60s. They don't want to be on the fucking modern side of shit. It's like your father. Do you imagine him going to get an Atari box to try and play some inadequate game that's just not even up to par with?
You tell him to put an SD card in, the guy's gonna fucking have a heart attack.
Right. So it's like, they're really shooting for the fucking moon over there. And honestly, they're
aiming more for us. Like they're trying to bring something that's nostalgic to a different generation.
Right. And I'm not hating. I got Atari.
A horrible idea, but yeah, I say the same thing. But it'll be something cool. I'll think about it. But still, all these other games now are fucking OP. Like, why am I gonna go back? Right. I told you I like the DS. You put the simulator on, like emulator. Like I blow through those games though. That's what I'm like. Oh, like I destroy the game so fast, and I'm like, oh, all right, what's next?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of other stuff you could put on that, but
no, I agree.
But on the other side of the coin, the Retron 77, it's definitely worth it in my eyes, and in my opinion. If you collect 2600, this is almost like a go-to thing for you to have. Now, I saw on another podcast, they said, they should have added a television and ColecoVision, and you know what? I agree with that. You might as well have done it like the Retron 5, where you could do... Now, the Retron 5, sorry, before I go on to that, Retron 5 was their last console from Hyperkin. I'm sorry, this is all from Hyperkin, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. That's the company that makes this. Hyperkin made the Retron 5, and what's cool about the Retron 5 is you could do Game Boy, Game Gear, Super Nintendo, regular Nintendo, Sega Genesis, all on one console. So you have the original carts. It does it through emulation, but it uses the original cart. It dumps the ROM onto it, and you're able to play. And you could use their controller, you could use your controller. Same thing for the Retron 77. If you don't want to use their controller that comes with it, you could use your original 2600 controller. Will hook right up, and you'll have no issue with it. So, the Retron 5 did a couple different systems, and if you were to think like, okay, maybe this would be good if you include it in television and everything else. So, I'm sorry, I just got caught up in my thoughts right there. So yeah, it's definitely worth it for you 2600 collectors out there. And if you guys haven't seen the video, check out John Hancock or Jason Metal Jesus Rocks. Check out his video. They do an in-depth look. They had good videos to watch to get an idea if you would want to buy this. And I'm happy you made the list because it looks good. It's actually good stuff from Hyperkin. Let's move on because we're actually trailing behind this podcast. That's the first. All right, so if you guys have more questions on Retron 77, leave a comment. I'll talk to you there. All right, Microsoft teams up with Razer.
Yeah, buddy.
Now, Dan can tell you about Razer in a second. To bring keyboards and mice to the Xbox One. We discussed this amazing news, my friend.
I'm a big fan of Razer. That's the fucking headset I'm wearing right now, too, man.
Right, Dan's wearing the headset as we speak.
I use the mouse. I have the mouse sitting right here. I do not use a Razer keyboard, I'm sorry to say. Most people ask me why not. I said I got comfortable playing with what it is I have. I have a small fucking keyboard that was like a wireless that I got, and that's what I used to play everything on.
Right.
But I told you, the way the mouse and everything works nowadays, like you don't need everything on your keyboard. The keyboard, to me, I used to tease guys that played with it. It's all about the lights. Like, it turns a different color.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
What do you fucking do?
What I care. Like, all I care about is where my hand is going to be placed while I'm playing the game.
Right,
I cared about. And for me, this just seemed to work for my fingers. I could sit like I am now if I lean forward, people that watch. And then I have my mouse, which has the Razer mouse, which has all 12 buttons on the side.
That's great.
So having that connected to the Xbox is interesting because it brings to a question to me, why would we want that?
Right.
So that makes me wonder what they're creating to enable you to use that.
Now, my theory on it is they release these keyboards and mice. That gives now. Let's be real here. We've said this a bunch of podcasts already that pretty much consoles are getting to the point where they're turning into PCs. That's just where we are. That's life. That's where the technology is. And it almost seems like Microsoft is thinking ahead long term. They want people to come off their PC and play on the Xbox One, or they want the people that are on PC to, instead of being at your desktop, have the option to sit in your living room and play and get the same experience that they might have gotten at the desktop. That's really cool to me, and it's opening up the realm to a broader.
Razer's a great company, like I said. So grabbing that one, like Razer is big time when it comes to online gaming, man. Like that's all you need. The mouse, to me, like I said, in World of Warcraft, it's a need. You cannot play without it, in my opinion. People that did are just fighting with what they thought. They're fighting the time, so to speak. It's like I don't need a gun. I'll just keep using this wooden spear. Like eventually it's going to catch up to you. But that's why the keyboard, not so much in my opinion, but the keyboard, some people are all about it because, again, it's added more components that you can play off of. So now bringing that company with what it is they do, I don't know. Will my 12-button, Razer mouse work when I'm playing on the Xbox? Is that something I'd even need, or is it too much? I don't know. But the fact that they're buying them makes you wonder, like, is it just a straight buyout and then Microsoft will keep using them, or is it something where they want to implement it more into the game itself? Then you start to wonder. Then they're like, I told you, sky's the limit. The only thing holding back these consoles are their ability to handle server loads.
Right.
Their servers cannot handle these massive, massive games. These games are like, it's the definition of a fucking sandbox to an extreme.
Exactly.
These games and that they need, and then incorporating the immense amount of people that play at the same given time. Like,
right.
World of Warcraft, I know I use a lot. There's like 40 servers. They have to. You need servers in Europe. You need servers here. You need servers like
all over
South
the world,
America, Australia, and then in the United States alone, it's broken down like time zones as far as where they keep their servers. And if you're trying to play on a West Coast server from the East Coast, you're getting lag just from that.
Exactly.
How are you gonna do that with the Xbox? Like that's my only question is if they're already thinking of that.
Well, they might be, and honestly, what I'm just thinking is bringing all those guys that are on PC to have a console. It's giving them a reason to have a console and get back in their living room by having a keyboard, because most PC people They do not want to play with a controller. They're used to the keyboard. They're used to having their hotkeys and what they're set to, which is interesting also. Are they going to give you a program to adjust what your keys do? I mean, it's going to have to. It's going to have to be at that point.
The game itself.
Yes.
Like, in the game itself, you have to. But again, like, dude, like, that's why I use this game just because of the immensity of it in World of Warcraft. But to play that game at its highest level, you actually had to download, like, games pieces through Twitch, and is another company. You had to download outside programs to help you manage shit.
Right.
Then hot fix those to the fucking keyboard because of how much shit was going on. Now, trying to do that for the console scares me. Could they? I mean, granted, not all games are ever going to be that in depth. That's just that World of Warcraft is like the far limit. So that's in my opinion. But as far as like bringing it into it, it's interesting. It makes me wonder what they're thinking. I think that's the biggest thing: is where is it going to go? What is it going to do? It's exciting.
Right.
I'd like to play on PCs and console.
I think it's great, to be honest. I think it's a great idea. I think it's going to open up the realm even for console gamers or PC gamers that are being on console that they want a better experience. Maybe they already have the console. It's a really good stuff. I'm glad Microsoft is making all these changes because they're trailing behind Sony. And, they look like they're really trying to stay in the game and makes it look really good. So let's leave it at that. Let's talk Nintendo real quick to end the podcast. This is the last topic, guys. Nintendo makes the list one more time. Well, I'm sure they're going to be making it again and again and again lately with the Nintendo Switch, but this time it's for a good reason. There's talks of Metroid Prime 4, Animal Crossing, Yoshi, and also another Pokemon title, which we said in the intro, it's really not our realm, so we're going to talk, even Animal Crossing really isn't our realm, but let's talk Metroid Prime 4 and the Yoshi titles. Now, this was excluded from E3, but it may... Yeah, but it might be for good reasons. Mm-hmm. So, my theory on it is they excluded from E3 because they wanted to showcase Smash Brothers. Obviously, that's their go-to title right now. That's going to pull all those dudes in that are huge Smash Brothers fans to get on the Switch. That's what it is. Now a lot of people were looking for Metroid Prime 4. They wanted to see that. A lot of people were interested in the Yoshi title. I know I would have been.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe they just didn't. Yoshi. Maybe they have to pay for this time slot, which I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. Like, if you want to be at E3, it's probably like how we just did for the Expo. You got to pay to be there. And you're probably paying for a slot of about an hour. And they do their direct anyway. You were going to get to see this no matter what. So to me, it's not news. We're going to see it eventually.
Biggest game, which is Smash Brothers. Get that out there so everybody sees it, and then on your own, leak your other games, which makes more sense from a marketing standpoint. What's the point of trying to shove, like, imagine just shoving everything into the E3. What are they going to do? Right.
They don't have enough space to shove it into the E3. They didn't have enough time, so now you get it now. So while you talk, you want to give your thoughts on Metroid Prime 4. I think that's a good concept for the Switch.
I mean, I guess I was never huge. I'm more excited than what I told you is about the Yoshi titles. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, me too. I
want to see where they could go. Those are the type of games. Like, that's to be the stuff I want to see with Switch. Like, I like to see games. Like, if you're going to make me play, like, anything, like, and then that's like, just for fun, whether it's Mario Kart or all those games like that, to me, it's like, I need to see, like, Super Smash Brothers, the Mario Tennis. If it makes sense what I'm trying to go at, it's just the way the game itself looks. Or whether I'm playing Zelda on there. It's a different view of the game, this 3D view. So that's what I wanted to see. I'm hoping, like, it would be funny if it made, like, you remember Donkey Kong Kingdom?
Right.
I think I've said it, like Diddy Kong. Like, make it a game where you play as Yoshi like that is something, like I said, that would grab me. Because you could build off of that. But I don't know much about the other one you just said.
Okay, so Metroid Prime is a Metroid game, but it's in the first person.
Oh.
I don't know if you remember, Metroid Prime came out on the GameCube. And, yeah, right. And it's a really interesting concept for Metroid because usually it's a platformer that you're just jumping around doing different things.
Yeah.
But to be in the first person gives a little bit more depth to the storyline and you get to see things from her eye. Yeah, it's a cool concept. I think it's cool to be on the Switch. I'm sorry, guys. I forgot to add this now looking up this article again. Mother 3 is coming to the Switch. And that's big. That's big for a bunch of different reasons.
Which game? The fuck is Mother 3?
Oh my god, you didn't just say that on the podcast. Earthbound! Holy shit! Holy shit! Earthbound! Holy fuck!
It was awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
All right.
I just watched that awful game.
All right, listen. People are gonna kick you in the dick now at the expo.
Oh no! I don't like every game you motherfuckers like. What? Oh my god! There's somebody out there that doesn't love your fucking game.
Can't believe I couldn't think of Earthbound. It's like that game's going for like $300-something. All right, listen. Yes.
Oh, so coveted. I would have thought it would go for more.
No, it's probably at one point it was, but the prices fluctuate. You know that. All right, so listen. So now Mother 3. The reason why this is a big deal is because we've never gotten another game for it. I'm not into this RPG, so I'm right there beside you. It's really not my cup of tea, but there's a lot of people where it is their cup of tea. And to hear that they're making something that's coming to the Switch that has to do with Mother or Earthbound, that's a pretty big deal. Why I couldn't think of the name Earthbound, I don't know. Kick me in the dick at the expo. But yeah. So don't mind Dan. He has his own. He's the PR department. He doesn't give a fuck about your feelings either way. So
I don't like a game. Oh no! He has to be.
Hey, that's life.
Like it. Fuck you and fuck your fucking Mother 3. Fuck this Switch. I mean, there you go. I just said it. Fuck the Switch. Oh no.
Oh no, fucking A. It's gonna be a tough expo. Alright, so Yoshi, let's talk about Yoshi, goddammit.
Yeah.
Before you go on and lose all of our fan base. Alright, so yeah, all 8 of you, all 70 of you from Indonesia, we're gonna lose all of you. Alright, so listen. Yoshi on the Switch, he deserves a spot. Alright, motherfuckers.
We were asking for that too. We were saying that.
Yeah, we were saying that. Like, where is he at? Why are they just talking about Smash Bros. And fucking Mario Party? We don't care about that. But, hey, you know what? They just had this shit up their sleeve. They didn't want... Yeah. This is the whole thing. If you know that E3 has the 3 giants, they got Nintendo, they got Microsoft, they got Sony, then you got the big developers there like Ubisoft and fucking Bethesda and all of them. It's like, something's going to steal your shine. And what's smart about the Direct is they could drop shit on you anytime they want. Oh, guess what? There's a Yoshi game. There's another Metroid Prime game. Oh, and guess what? There's a Mother 3 coming out for the Switch. Bet you didn't know that. And you're like, holy shit. Nintendo had all this shit, and they didn't even tell us at E3. Yeah, no shit. They're not going to tell you at E3 because they're smart. They want to build up, and they do good marketing so that you're going to go out and buy the shit. It makes perfect sense to me. I don't know about you, Dan, but it makes perfect sense to me.
E3 was never, like I said, I watched it when we do, but I always do that in passing. I'm not like fucking sitting there stoked watching the live fucking feed of these bullshit. Because like I said, I take it as a grain of salt. But same thing when somebody like us, or whether I'm reading somebody else's article, it's because they don't like something, or I say I don't like something. Everybody's got a different taste in the particular shit that they're gonna want to play.
Right.
So I feel like E3, I was never like E3 isn't like my gold standard of games. I got to play that shit. But again, like I agree with you, it makes more sense just dropping them when you get it.
Exactly.
Let's see it. And I'm gonna get such a fucking plethora of games they can choose from. Like, you know how it's gonna go. But again, they're doing the same thing we talked about. Even if this game is coming out, because when you say it is Earthbound, it's just gonna be another remake. Like
actually, I think it's gonna be.
It's gonna be a new storyline. But all I mean is like just piggybacking off the games from the Nintendo. Like, I guess that there's no originality in the Nintendo.
Well, let me ask you a question. If they never made a Super Mario Bros. 2 or a Super Mario Bros. 3, and you fucking love Super Mario Bros., you're going to want that. And especially if it's been 10, 15 years, you're going to want that.
That's what it feels like they do. There are certain games. Yes, absolutely. There are games, whether like we talked about with the PlayStation E3, whether it's Resident Evil or it's games that are going to continuously come out of Microsoft, like Halo, like the other game that's got like 8. Yes, but that should be some of your games. I feel like when we're doing it with Nintendo, it's like 95% of their games are a piggyback from an old game.
Yeah, I mean, but that's Nintendo.
If you heard of it in an original Nintendo now, I get it. I know they play off the nostalgia aspect of it. Sometimes that kind of like drags on me. I'm like,
Yeah, but I mean, they do have Splatoon. That was a new property from them. Even the one we covered on the E3 podcast, Demon X Machina. I think that's from them. I'm pretty sure. I don't think that was from the developer. I don't remember actually.
Well, then I gotta look at the guys who made it.
Yeah, right. I'll go take a look. But
2 out of 100, right?
What?
Right? It's like 2 out of 100. where you're just like, oh, well, look, we're gonna get, we just talked about what was their biggest one, Smash Brothers. Oh,
Yeah.
Mario Tennis. Oh, that's what I played already. Mario Kart. Oh,
Yeah.
taking on that again.
Well, there you go. But then you got stuff coming out this month, like Wolfenstein is coming this month for the Switch. Then you got what else?
Oh, you don't own a Switch? Blows my mind. Just the game alone. This guy's got Wolfenstein pajamas. It's like, come on, man.
Oh my god! I told my girl. My girl was like, okay, she wants to get me the Pro, right, the PS4 Pro, and she said, I want to get it for you. I want to get a deal. I was like, okay, and I'm thinking in my head, like, what's the first game I would even buy on the new gen?
Because you're only getting one.
Right. I was like, what did I even get it physical? I'd probably just fucking buy it digital. And guess what I would throw in my head? The new fucking Wolfenstein. I want to play it so bad. But yeah, it's amazing. I don't have a Switch, but whatever. What I'm just trying to say is they got a lot of stuff coming out this upcoming month in July. It's not just Wolfenstein. I can't think of it off the top of my head. Obviously, that one's stuck in my fucking head. But they got a lot of stuff coming out this month. So let's give them the benefit of the doubt. We'll see what happens. That's Nintendo for you. They're always going to have their flagship characters that people are going to buy that shit no matter what.
We got good marketing in that sense, I agree, but sometimes I'm always like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
No, I agree. It's like Zelda.
Yeah, but I'm just like, all right, like, I'm not waiting for this new game to drop. Like, their new game is something where I'm like, oh. Like, you know what I mean? But I told you that's not why I'd buy a Switch.
All right, it's for the nostalgia. And you want those games for nostalgia.
Exactly. But I might as well buy an emulator, but the Switch comes in better graphics. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, that's the end of this week's Assassin Cast. We got to cut it out there. We could argue about Nintendo all night, but we got to cut it out here. We're like 20 minutes over, baby. This is a good podcast for you guys out there. Before we go, what are you playing? Retro or not? I know you're playing something.
I already finished off the original Final Fantasy. I already finished off Zelda. Now I'm trying to figure out what I want to fuck around with. Do I want to mess around with some DuckTales? Is what seems to be calling Dan next. That's what I'm leaning towards. But as far as, like I said, as far as the regular game, nothing's grabbed me yet. I'm still waiting. Looking at what's gonna. Like I said, Witcher came out years ago when I grabbed Witcher 3. I got to get something to catch me.
Right. And
library than I have, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, I got a crazy library. I'm looking at it right now. But retro-wise, I'm playing the Incredible Hulk on the Game Gear. Matter of fact, that's an interesting one for a throwback. That's on my phone though. PS3-wise, I started Uncharted. I really want to get into it. It hasn't pulled me in yet, so I'm not sure if I'm going to continue through the first game. I know the third game is really good. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. And then PS1, I've been playing Crash Bandicoot 2.
Yeah, you were saying.
Right. And you know what's funny? I was talking on Facebook about the first model PlayStation, the PS1, the first model. It is like a girlfriend. That's just the way I explained to it on this Facebook page. It's like a girlfriend. You need to show it attention every once in a while.
You can't just leave it there.
Or else it's going to act up on you and you're not going to be happy. I'm 100% telling you the truth. And I had that issue the other night. I booted it up. I was like, listen, it's been a while since I booted up the PS1 because I've been playing those classics on the PS3.
You walk into this thing, rubbing it.
Come on, baby girl. Just start off for me.
Jesus Christ.
Listen.
Want a back massage?
Listen, speaking of back massages, the Game Shark plugs in the back, right? And you would think that I got the Game Shark plugged in the back. Maybe it'll just, it wasn't even reading the Game Shark. I started it up. It didn't even know what to fucking do with itself. It, showed, the PlayStation logo with, a blue screen over it. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Had to reset it, 5 times just to get it to start up. Then, by the time I got it on the 6th try, I got the Game Shark to start up. It's very touchy. Very touchy. So if you got a SCPH 1001 PS1, the very first PS1, make sure you start it up, you play it for at least 20 minutes, a half hour, and make sure you show it some love every once in a while because it will act up on you. It is the girlfriend you wish you never had. So that's it from me, guys. So yeah, we'll get back to my PS3 backlog eventually, but that's it for this portion. This week's Assassin Cast for the week of June 17th, 2018. You got it.
Yeah.
I'm Jeremy Malspina, accompanied by the one and only Dan McCarthy. We're signing out.
Peace out, bitches.
Peace, bitches.